whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Tina, and I want to expand on what I spoke about yesterday. Bear with me 1 second here. There we go. So, what I spoke about yesterday was choosing the star path of divinity and what that means for us. I realized that as a shorter video, there are many things that I left out, and there are many things that I could expand upon for sure. In fact, this is probably something I could talk about every day for at least a couple weeks. The reason I'm coming to you today is to expand on what I spoke about yesterday. So, the first thing I spoke about was being on the star path or the star mission of divinity, and a little bit about what that means for us to do that. What I want to talk about today is what mission actually is. I think there's a lot of confusion or a lot of uncertainty around what mission is and around what mission means. Mission just means that it's a job that ignites within you the spark of love, the spark of joy, and the spark of inspiration. So you can love, be in joy, and be in inspiration no matter what it is that you choose to do. I think a lot of the misconception comes around where it has to be specifically something that is a part of the new earth, or the part of the new earth frequency, or part of the new earth experience. But the most important thing that I want to tell you is doing that thing that sparks your love, doing that thing that sparks your joy, and doing that thing that sparks your inspiration is all that is actually needed to spark the changes within New Earth. Because a lot of people look at that and they think, oh, well, being a doctor or a writer or something in 3D, mission means I have to choose a 5D job. So I will again reiterate the importance of whatever sparks your love, whatever sparks your joy, whatever sparks your passion, whatever ignites that spark within you is what your mission is. For some people, that may be a doctor or a writer. For some people, that may be public speaking. That could be making vocal training exercise videos on TikTok. We are also very, very different when it comes to what sparks us. So I did want to first eliminate the fact that this specifically has to be under some kind of guise of new earth, in quotes, expanded consciousness version. If you are doing what you love and what brings you joy, that's going to expand your consciousness, your love, and your joy and your inspiration, no matter what that is. Does not make a difference what you have actually chosen to do in the third dimension. So that's the first thing. That job and that lifestyle is going to be different for every single person across the board. So I'll go back to saying what it is to be on the star path. And at its basic root essence, the star path is choosing people, places, and things that bring the most light and the most shine into every aspect of your life. And I'm going to repeat that because this is so important. Choosing mission and choosing to be on the star path at this most auspicious time on planet Earth means this thing and only this one thing. The essence of the star path is choosing the people, places, and things that bring the most light and the most shine into your body, into your auric field, and into your physical reality. That is it. That is all we are asked to do. And that is all at this time we are asked to be. So that's the mission. Now I want to talk briefly about the love aspect of that. I don't feel at this point in my journey or yours that I need to explain to you what 3D love is, because we are all old enough to comprehend and have been through 3D loves a multiple amount of times to all be well aware of what 3D love is and what 3D love encompasses. So when we jump forward to where you and I are right now, we're talking about the higher template, the star path of choosing divine love. So that will be all the things that are involved in 3D love and 3D relationships, but it will be an amazing icing on your already amazing cake. So let's talk about that for a minute. So we have all the 3D aspects of relationship and love, but then we add a bunch of things which are not present in our 3D relationships and love. In a 3D relationship, someone who loves you is going to love you no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what your hardship is that you're going through. And that's wonderful and that's great. And I'm not here to be against or downplay love and relationships that are part of the 3D template for us. But what I do want to add is the things that come with the higher choice in divine love. So the first thing is telepathy. Now, because our DNA is turned on and because we are all starting to realize our telepathic potential and realization, many of us have our telepathy turned on right now. And the telepathy for us is used to navigating through our reality and our relationships with other people. So again, because the DNA has started to turn on, especially for the first and second wave for a while now, we're all familiar with telepathy and kind of how that works. When you meet someone that is a frequency match or a divine partnership match, that telepathic connection and that telepathic communication is going to be beyond anything that you've experienced before. Some people will initially be comfortable with this. Other people will actually be terrified by this. And then what can happen also doesn't have to be an extreme. It could be anywhere in between. I really love this and I'm grateful for this. And I'm terrified by this. So you can have an in-between reaction to that telepathy. But again, the state of advanced telepathy. This person is your ascension partner. So whatever it is in your life, in your consciousness, in your auric field that is blocking you from being the best version of yourself, this person is going to spark, ignite, or trigger you into the highest version of yourself. So any blockage that you have in your life, in your consciousness, in your auric field, in your job, in your interpersonal relationships, this person is going to spark, catalyze, or activate you to make those changes so that those blocks can be removed. Now, this is most always done in a very loving and genuine, heartfelt way, but that does not mean that it is always like that. Because if you're sitting in a very stubborn energy and you're knowing that you need to change something, but you're not, and you have like a big resistance or a really big block to it, you might find it a bit more than challenging. But again, as an ascension partner, this person is there to assist you physically the best way they can in climbing this mountain of ascension. The next thing you will experience in this higher love frequency is going to be nonstop synchronicity. Now, I've been experiencing synchronicity since about 2007, and it's constantly increasing. But when you meet this love match or expanded frequency conscious awareness match in another person, the synchronicity will almost be enough to drive you crazy. And especially and specifically if you are trying to avoid making changes or avoid removing the blocks, not the blocks between the relationship, that's a separate thing, but the block that is working to catalyze you to bring you into your new conscious expanded awareness and frequency. The exaggerated synchronicity for me is so bad with seeing the person's age, the person's birth year, the person's initials, things they've said to me, stuff like that, that I actually started running a part of my walk while having my eyes closed to avoid seeing that amount of synchronicity, so that I could take a walk and feel peaceful without the constant reminder of those synchronicities. I also talked to another lady that was having the same thing. She called me and asked me if I was experiencing synchronicity to the point where some days I wish it would slow down or wish it would stop. And my answer to that was yes, because when we get in our ego mind and we think we're losing our mind, and those synchronicities are so prevalent, there are days we want to make those stop. So the next thing is, whatever it is that you personally need most in your life to catalyze you to change will show up in that other person. So let's say for me, my biggest catalyst is I've had bad relationships, and I don't think that I am, or I don't, a lot of this is thinking, and we should let the feeling part come into it. But we may think and feel like I've never had this, I don't deserve this, or you may deserve it, you may feel that you deserve it, but you look at it like it might be impossible. So let's say that is my particular issue. I don't feel that it's possible, or I'm getting up in my logical mind and I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's possible, or I don't think it's logical. The other person is going to mirror that, but be the exact opposite. So that person's feeling or thinking may be, wow, here's something standing in front of me, looking me directly in the eye that I've always wanted, but I'm not worthy of making that happen. I'm not internally worthy of having that thing. So I hope that makes sense, because it's going to be different for all people, but there is a lot of worthiness, self-worth, and self-vulnerability around this relationship template. So that's one of the things that's going to come up for everyone. And again, how well you deal with that as a catalyst or an inspiration to change your life depends on the amount of stubbornness that you have. The other thing is that this is an attraction or a loving or a passion or an obsession or an intensity that you have never, ever felt in your life. So we have the same reaction as we have to some of the other things that go on catalytically for us. And that is, one person may be like, wow, this is amazing. I want it, and I want it right now. And the other person may be like, whoa, what is this? What's going on? Is this girl into voodoo, etc.? So there's a lot of challenges and a lot of things that are set to inspire us, again, to change our thinking, to change what is in our auric field, and to change what is in our personal 3D reality. So the attraction is insanely intense. And though it may start out as a physical attraction, as I feel this intensity by looking at this person, by listening to this person, by hearing the sound of their voice, that kind of thing is always how it's going to start, because we're in a 3D body and our eyes play a big part in our ascension path. So that will shift within, sometimes it's a matter of minutes, sometimes it's hours, sometimes it's days, it could be months for people. It depends where you are. But the gist of what I'm saying is the attraction to that person will be something you have never, ever experienced in your life. But it's more than just the body. It's more than the face. It's more than any of those outward 3D things. What it is at an energetic level is an attraction to a specific energy frequency that is a match for you to change your heart space, your logical thinking, your auric field, your conscious awareness, and your 3D physical life. That is why that attraction is there. Again, it's mostly about energetics. It's mostly, I want to be in that person's energy. Now, when you start thinking about that other person, or when that other person thinks about you, it's not just like, oh, I have to hold that person. Oh, I have to be intimate with that person. I have to do these intimate things with that person. That is part of it. But the overall feeling energetically is I'm pulled to this energy that I cannot explain. It ignites me within every cell of my body in a way that is not logical and in a way that I cannot explain to myself. There is a magnetic draw between two people to simply be, capital B, capital E. The energetic magnetic pull is to be with that person, to hear their voice in person, to look in their eyes in person, to touch that person in person. Again, it's all about the energetic beingness of wanting to be in someone's energy field, and all the other 3D things, emotions, stuff like that, they're all still present. You're not eliminating anything from the 3D. You're adding the fifth dimensional and above frequency to it. And the most overriding part of that is the passion to be within that other person's auric field. And that will last usually until you give into it. Now, one of the reasons why I think it's so important for us to talk about this right now is we are specifically an age group that is here to catalyze and show the way for the younger age group, for our nieces, for our nephews, for our brothers, for our sisters, for our neighbors, for those people around us. Now, let's talk for a brief moment about why this catalytic change in our life is so difficult. The reason it's so difficult is shining your most brilliant light and being your most brilliant self and being in the energetic auric presence of someone who brings out the absolute best in you. The reason for that is the change that is needed within our life. So we can all understand that. That's very easy. Now, what I will say is there's a reoccurring theme here. The biggest reoccurring theme is that people the specific amount of people that need to work on this change, the specific amount of people that are most drawn to the star pathway of divinity and the higher love choice for us. Our age group is mostly, and this is not anything that I say is never a complete full picture. I want you to know that. But I mean, but the majority and what pertains to the majority of us here present watching this video is this. The majority of us are between late 40s and mid 60s. Why is that a challenge? Well, look at your life. You're most likely doing something that you've been doing for many, many years or many, many decades. You may be with someone that you've been with for a decade or many, many decades. It's really hard to change something that works in your 3D life for you, whatever that is, jobs, partners, physical locations. So with our age group being between late 40s, and we might as well just say pretty much 50 to 65. There are people below that, there are people above that. But the majority of us being asked to shift our consciousness awareness on the star path are between 50 and 65. We've been doing things that work for us for a really long time. The other thing is we have many internal prejudices about what will or will not work for our life, what may be hard, what may be easy, how vulnerability may be a hard thing for us. Now, the reason for that is because I've not been married, but most people in our age group who've chosen the star path have been married once, twice, maybe 3 times. Okay. And that builds up resistance, that builds up all kinds of things about what did work, what didn't work. So what I'm saying is all of this is a lot of really big and really scary change for many people that have been doing the same thing in relationships or the same thing in job or the same thing, no matter what that pertains to. So if you've been doing the same thing for many years, it's hard to then change into something completely different. So why is the choice of higher love the highest choice and the most scary yet inspirational? That's because when we choose the higher love, whatever changes need to be made in our logical thinking, whatever changes need to be made in our heart space, whatever changes need to be made in our conscious awareness, and whatever changes need to be made in our 3D physical life, that person is going to catalyze you to change it. That person is going to inspire you to change it. You could be 69 years old and looking at your life and saying, wow, what am I doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I doing it because it's inspirational? Am I doing it because it gives me the most love and the most joy? Or am I doing it because I'm used to it, because I'm comfortable with it? So that's something that we all really need to think about. Choosing the star pathway is about expanding our conscious awareness. Now, I will tell you, because the universe, God, source, and our ancestors know that a lot of us are in this middle age group between 50 and 65, what happens is in mission, you will be inspired to start something while you are still working a 3D job. You will be inspired to start side projects while you're still doing your 3D job. So that thing, that mission, that beautiful expression of you that you've always wanted to do will start bleeding in, and you'll start doing that little by little. Now, the other thing that will happen is even if you are in another relationship, that will also come to you and kind of bleed in as a side person or side project or side inspiration. And the one thing that Spirit asked me to really tell you and really delve into and deliver to you right now is this. There is so much of the unknown in making all of these. They can be very dramatic changes. I mean, if you look at our age group and the fact that we've been through a lot, we've all been through so much in relationships. And that is the thing about the higher love template. You're not going to find someone who's chosen before they incarnated the higher love template that's like, oh, I've never had a bad breakup, or I've never had a bad marriage, or I've never felt completely worthless. I've never felt like I couldn't be vulnerable. That's not part of it. We're all people that have been abused and neglected by other people, which then led us to the choice of self-abuse and self-neglect. And that is what we have to turn around, and meeting that other person will inspire us to make the changes in our 3D reality, no matter what that is, whether that's how we love ourselves, our exercise, our diet, across the board. Everything by meeting that person will cause you to look at your life. Am I doing what brings me joy? Am I doing what brings me love? Am I doing what is ultimately the best for my physical health, the best for my mental health, and the best thing for the state of my heart? The other thing is, with this higher template, if we have been in bad relationships before, or if we're currently in maybe a relationship that's not in our highest good, now I am trying to be positive with my words here. What will happen is you will recognize things in yourself and other people that are for your highest good that are not currently in your life, or they are not probably in your current partnership. And so again, I will go back to the higher love template being about us making the choices within our heart, within our logical thinking, within our conscious expansion, and changing things in our auric field and changing things in our physical 3D surroundings that are not part of the star pathway. Anything that is not igniting your heart and your passion into overdrive, into wanting to be the brightest, shiniest, most inspired version of yourself. That is what choosing higher mission and choosing higher love is about. Till next time, and my wonderful friend, and I love to call her my agent, Tip, if she's watching, I'm not sure. I think she said she's going back to sleep. I'm just going to make this to be continued, I think. Thank you for being here. I love you, as always. Bye.